Tired of map mountains? Barricaded in with book piles? In need of updating and streamlining? Get a whole new perspective. Bring GIS to your classroom.
What we want to be doing today is some GIS work, some geographical information.
Everybody's saying that geographic information systems are the best thing since sliced bread. But just how can schools' geography departments make the most of this digital data software? We've come to Homewood School in Tenterden, Kent, where Dr. Gerard O'Sullivan, an advanced skills geography teacher, describes how his department introduced it into the classroom.
We use a GIS system. We're going to locate all of our data accurately on maps and aerial photographs of Canterbury. So, there was a report by Ofsted a while ago that was fairly critical of some of the things that were going on in geography, that there was potential there but we weren't exploiting it. So we took GIS as a tool on board to try and make our learning more active, more enjoyable, but taking more use of IT. So let's see if we can make geography a little bit more exciting in terms of how we use our information technology. GIS is a great way of doing that. The idea how we use GIS in Homewood School is to get it into Key Stage 4 first, into the coursework, and then cascade it down into other areas as students and staff become more confident in using it.
Gerard used a data collecting exercise on a field trip to Canterbury as the vehicle for introducing GIS into his teaching.
5, 8, 6, 4, 7. We used the Canterbury project, we've used it for a number of years, looking at traffic management as our big pilot to get people on board using GIS. The key thing is location. We used a GPS, a global positioning satellite navigator, to locate all our data collection points in Canterbury quite accurately. Right, one of the things we want to do today is lots of pedestrian counts. Right, I'm going to try and tie up with some of the other groups. We are 15014 58145. This then allows us to bring back the field data that we collected on pedestrian counts, on traffic counts, on car park surveys, our field sketches and our environmental impacts, which we record on the day, bring it back into the lab and enter those data accurately onto the computer. What we want to do is measure the distance from where we did our pedestrian count to the centre of the CBD.
So they go for CBD.
When we use the GIS, that then enables us to locate where we carried out all these surveys on the day and start looking at the big picture. How do our pedestrian counts vary in relation to the centre of the central business district? How do our traffic flows vary according to where we are on the ring road? How do our car park survey prices alter as we move into the CBD or away from the CBD? What about our shop transects? How do our shop type vary as we move out of the central business district and move into the central business district? All these data that we collected on the day we were able to accurately map once we got back to school. That improves the analysis that's carried out by the students, improves their discussion chapter of their coursework, hopefully get some better coursework grade. You've got to remember that geographical information systems, first of all, they're primarily a tool.
And what we're going to do is we're going to remove very slowly the aerial photograph to reveal what used to be in this area 200 years ago.
If you use it well, you can bring your subject to life. You can show photographs, you can show maps, you can show historical maps, you can lay them all on top of each other. You can make measurements, you can do determinations, you can identify road patterns, you can identify house patterns, you can identify house types. You can do hundreds of different things, seeing through one layer down to another layer to find out what used to be there. You can import rainfall data, you can import flooding data, you can look at coastal flooding data. There are thousands of things you can do if you want to. The most important thing to remember though, once you start letting the students use this, once you let them fly with it, they will go a long way. They're not bothered by the technology, so they see it as a tool, they use it.
I think that the best thing about the GIS system is that it's really easy to use.
I like the fact that all the information is there for us on the computer screen and we don't have to do any paperwork anymore.
We can get maps and aerial photos and compare them.
When you want to pinpoint where you are, it's really easy to do.
You only have to use a pointer to find the grid reference number. You don't have to use your eyes to search about.
It makes our coursework a lot easier, so we can make it look more professional.
The main type of pupils it benefits will be the visual learners, the ones who look, learn, see. It benefits audio learners in that their listening skills are engaged and they can listen to what's going on, but they can also see as well. We all learn a little bit in each different way. The kinesthetic learners, they learn by doing, and they can recreate exactly what they did in the field. They can recreate the route that they took on the GIS. They can walk down the same streets that they walked down, looking down from above. It will engage those learners. I haven't found a student who hasn't enjoyed using it to some extent, whether they be visual, audio or kinesthetic learner.
So how do the teachers of Homewood's Geography department feel about the prospect of using GIS?
I was excited about using GIS in my geography teaching because I'd used it at university.
I've only used the programme that we've got minimally, but I look forward to using it a lot more in the future.
Quite daunting at the start because I'd never used GIS at university, so I was quite excited by the fact of actually bringing it into lessons, but obviously a little bit worried because I've not had any experience with it beforehand.
I introduced GIS into the school slowly and carefully, making sure that it wanted to work. You get one hit with staff. You get many hits with students. If you try something with a student and it don't work, they'll quite often try it again. If you try something with staff and it doesn't work, then that's it. You've blown your chance.
On the other hand, on the site you've got all the data, the photography, satellite images.
The staff of Homewood School receive some training in the use of GIS from their software provider before establishing it as a tool in the classroom. One of the difficulties of using GIS can be the initial steep learning curve, and this can often put teachers off the use of them in the first place. The other major problem can be choosing the appropriate software package. This can involve a great deal of research both on the net and speaking to suppliers. Gerard selected the software used by his department from a range of packages he investigated at an open day at the Royal Geographical Society. His supplier provided assistance in the installation of the system onto the school computer network.
Yeah, a whole wealth of information on there about your local environment. Now, they agreed to give us that information to provide it to you via our project here. Because it's a new technology, we have to make sure the teachers are comfortable using it, we have to make sure the systems work properly, and we have to make sure that the best data is available for the teachers to use. Drop and drag all the time.
So what does Jason have to say to those starting up with GIS?
Yeah. If you're a new teacher and you're debating, what's the best, what can I use in my classroom? I'd say try and find another teacher who's used it, who's used the platform you're thinking about. You can go through organisations like School Zone, which have independent, I think 3-month trials of the different types of software in their schools, and you'll get unfettered information and advice about what was good, what was bad from those teachers' experiences. Also contact the companies. If the companies are any good, they'll happily give you names of people who are using their software and their data for you to contact and say, is this a good thing? If you have a GIS and you have some data, you can use it in a number of ways. You don't have to have all your class using it straight away. You can just bed yourself in very slowly. Just take a satellite image or one aerial photograph at a time. You can even copy it into PowerPoint and use it in PowerPoint if you're comfortable with that in the first instance, and just use it in your own home and get comfortable with actually what you can actually achieve with it. Over a period of time, you can start to expand its use as you become more comfortable in what you can do with it. Perhaps you then introduce the software to the classroom, perhaps you're just using it on a laptop projecting to the rest of the class. And so you're not letting loose the children on it yet until you're fully comfortable and confident with what you're doing. All you need to start using GIS in the classroom is a laptop and a projector. That's as simple as that. We know it's difficult sometimes for geography pupils to get time in the IT labs, but you can teach them in their geography room with no computers. Doesn't even have to be an interactive whiteboard, just a screen in the classroom. You can project on it and start to get over some of the ideas that you want to do using GIS. And just projecting up images of their area, your school. The children will find this fun. You can get them, if you've got an interactive whiteboard, it's a fantastic resource because you can have the children coming out and interacting with the GIS on the screen as well. So it really depends on the technology you have, but that shouldn't limit you. You can start from a real small base level.
Right into where the
What further advice can Gerard offer?
I'll show you where the one thing you need to be able to do is to be able to use basic IT skills. Dropping, dragging, pointing, opening, closing. That's all you need to be able to use. The vast majority of students have got IT skills way ahead of that. The digital divide tends to be between adults and students rather than between one type of student and another, irrespective of their ability or their academic ability. There is no students that are excluded from this in terms of their capability, in terms of their IT skills, or in terms of their age. It's there, it's open for all. If you're a teacher struggling with IT skills, do what you normally do with anything else. Open it, be honest, let the students direct and drive it. If you can use them as your lead learners, you don't have to be the genius at the front. You don't have to be the sage on the stage. You can be the guide at the side. You can get them working, point them in the right direction, and then let them go.
Get rid of it.
So how did the teachers feel after some training with GIS?
The training for GIS was informative, helpful and very easy to use.
I think it's very important to choose your software correctly. There's a lot of things about, and they're all different values for money.
The training process was good. Thought it was quite quick in terms of just had the hour session after school that one time.
Once staff had that initial skill level and that initial skill basis was instructed, we were able to take the project forward ourselves with the help that's available within the software. We've got to work very closely with the IT department. They're the experts at getting the software to work. We're the experts at getting the software to do what we want it to do. Therefore, with the IT department, I had to make sure that they stored the data in the right place, that they had the program set up in the right place, and that we just piloted it with a few groups of students. What happens when 30 students open the program simultaneously? What happens if 30 students open it on their wireless laptop when we're using wireless technology? What happens when we pan it onto our whiteboards? What happens when we use it on an interactive whiteboard? So just test all those things first of all, see how they work, get the IT guy sitting next to you and say, sort that out please. We have some very young teachers, fresh out of university, who are using it quite excitingly, coming up with some good ideas and some novel ideas. We have older colleagues who have got more teaching experience who are coming up with different types of ideas and ways in which they can use it. The exciting thing is seeing how people with different IT skills, higher IT skills, who are newer to the profession, are bringing their IT experience to colleagues who are more experienced, who have the better teaching ideas. So you can mesh the two things together. Good ideas, good IT skills.
Using GIS in my teaching has been fun. The pupils love it, and it's extended the curriculum.
GIS in this school has enhanced the geography lessons by helping them to explain patterns and processes, also helping the pupils to ask geographical questions and use geographical vocabulary.
I feel that the use of GIS in the classroom is very good for the students that we have here. Visual learners enjoy using it because it gives them something to be looking at and they can interact with it. It's something that they can use on the computer screen in front of them.
We want to make sure our students are skilled in using GIS so that as they move into the world of work, they'll be able to use GIS in whatever applications that their employer sees fit. It's a 21st century technology tool. Let's make sure our students are available, trained and ready to use it. My experience of using GIS in schools has been really positive, surprisingly positive. I was a bit cynical to start with. It's worked really well. It's been very exciting in terms of what the staff have done. It's been very exciting in terms of what I've done. What the students have done has been really amazing. I've just let them sort of fly with it. In many ways I'm trying to hold on to what they're doing and where they're going and what they're doing with it. It's improved their geographical skills, it's improved their teaching and learning, it's made geography fun, it's made my job a lot easier.